Number 4 on our Cache Valley Media Group's list of the top 25 Aggies for this season, a much-anticipated addition to Utah State as a transfer from Maryland, Brian Cobbs. He's a graduate senior, Alexandria, Virginia, and played at Maryland, caught 59 passes during his career there with a couple of touchdowns. And now he figures to really help out with the 3 receivers leaving the Aggie program who were huge and productive last year to be a big new cog in this receiver group at 6'2" and 210 pounds. His father played football at Penn State, winning 2 national titles, and he played 2 years in the NFL with the New England Patriots. Cobbs very talented, adding to the Aggie wide receiver group. Brian Cobbs, number 4 on our list.
I really like Brian Cobbs. I like his size. I like his speed, his physicality. I really think he's going to be the number 1 target for Logan Bonner this upcoming season. I like his route running. We've seen him make some great plays in the spring. We've seen him make them in the scrimmages and in practices. He's what gives me a lot of excitement that this wide receiver core is not really going to regress. If anything, they might actually be a little bit better this year, which is crazy to say.
Yeah, it does feel crazy to say, but there is a possibility that they could, because they have a lot more versatility than I think last year did. Whereas, your top 2 receivers were both slot guys, and you had Derek Wright, who was, a bit of a specialist in that he, caught a lot of touchdowns and, wasn't super involved in the possession game. It's usually they were just lobbing it to him toward the end zone, and then a few passes here and there. This year they've got, Cobbs, McGriff on the outside, Van Leeuwen, all over the place. But yeah, Cobbs is definitely, I think, is going to be the top receiver in terms of yards. Catches, we'll see what Van Leeuwen does. But with Cobbs, I think 700 to 800 yards, that's almost the baseline of the expectations, with the possibility for, obviously, close to 1,000 yards. The COC Mariners in that type. There's a lot of potential with him, with Logan Bonner.
Yeah, the only thing that might be a slight on not on Logan Bonner, on Brian Cobbs, is just that there will be more options for Logan Bonner. I think that, not that he didn't have options last year, but I think there is more depth and, as you put it, versatility in this wide receiver core. But Brian Cobbs will be a difference maker for Utah State offensively. He's been in a big time program. He knows what it takes to go out and compete, and he's one of those guys that, for whatever reasons, didn't see the field a lot at a Power 5 school, but comes here and looks like he has an opportunity to really blossom and showcase why he was highly recruited before. And we've seen that time and time again, and I'm excited to see Brian Cobbs be the guy that takes that next step here.
Yeah, and I'm expecting him to be the go-to guy for deep routes. McGriff isn't so much a guy who's going to be running deep routes. He's not like a speed guy. He's more of a possession guy. That's the term we've used a lot, where he's catching those hitch routes, out routes, things like that. Get a catch, get a first down, that kind of thing. You're not looking for 20-plus yards down the field. Cobbs, he's been throwing a couple of passes in the scrimmages. Not been targeted a ton in the scrimmages, not played a ton, especially in that first one. But his 2 catches are 24 yards, 49 yards. Gives you an idea what they think of this guy. He's going to be the guy they target deep, kind of like with Tompkins. They're going to throw the ball up to him and have him come down with a catch because he's got a bit more speed and size to him, where McGriff's more size and everyone else is a little too small maybe, and not Devin Tompkins. And you mentioned the not maybe having as many opportunities because, there's other receivers in this core. That's kind of why I put 700 to 800 yards as kind of what I expect, because you can't expect 1,000-yard receivers every year at Utah State. Maybe it's a possibility if Logan Bonner ends up throwing for like 4,000 yards, which is a vague possibility. It'd be kind of insane because it's never happened to Utah State before. But I think for him, 700 to 800 yards is about where you maybe expect at the top end. Maybe a couple of the guys in the 500 to 600s, McGriff or Van Leeuwen. And that gives you a pretty good receiving core. One of the better ones we've had, except for last year.
Right. Because Nine Davis can make plays. Terrell Vaughn can make plays. There's a lot of guys that are Xavier Williams, who we haven't mentioned yet. There are a lot of guys in this wide receiver group which are talented, fast, and can make exciting plays for USU.
Yeah.
Who any of those quarterbacks should have confidence throwing in their direction to be able to. Yeah, we did see some drops in the first scrimmage, but look, that was early. I'm not overly concerned about that.
Yeah, and the thing to remember is that drops happened last year too. These guys dropped passes. Tompkins dropped a couple. Bowling, sometimes had a bit of hands of stone. So did McGriff. They performed just fine because drops happen. They're college wide receivers. They're not Jerry Rice out there. They're going to drop some passes. It happens. They're still going to be productive, good wide receivers.
So Brian Cobbs at number 4. I had him at number 5 on my list. Do you recall where you had him on yours?
I think I had him a bit lower. Still in the top 10, if I can stall long enough to pull it up. Just keep talking. something. Oh, I think I lost it. Where'd it go? I've sent too many emails.
Well, while you do that, I'll look at this text that came through, 9315 asking, could Brian Cobbs be an NFL prospect if he has a good season?
Yeah, he could.
Good. And look what happened with Derek Wright.
Yeah. Sosi Manor did the same thing.
Yeah.
So actually, I apparently I was lying to myself. I had Brian Cobbs at number 3.
Oh.
So I thought I put him down lower at 7 or something. But I had him at 3. So I'm obviously very high on Brian Cobbs.
Excited to see what he'll be able to do for Utah State this season. But Brian Cobbs coming in at number 4.